The new Drake album, it was good. Okay, I'm not gonna glaze it too hard, but like, yeah, it was absolutely good. You know, a lot of people are gonna say it's not, but you know, it's whatever. Like, people are just gonna hate. And the funny thing about this album is, if he would have dropped it, I feel like maybe like 3 years ago, like people would have ate it up. Like, remember that era where everyone was like, "Oh man, I miss singing Drake. I miss old Drake." Personally, that was always been me. I love a good singing Drake. Like, rapping Drake is, he's gonna get a couple bangers out for sure, but nah, for me it's nothing compared to singing Drake. And you know what's funny? Even like the reason people are gonna pretend that they don't like this or force themselves not to like it, a lot of the reason is Kendrick and that whole beef. But even Kendrick himself said he likes Drake with the melodies. You know, he just doesn't like Drake when he acts tough. Here's Drake with the melodies. I feel like Kendrick would enjoy this album. Oh my gosh, guys, my friend just posted his Valentine, and like I've hit before. Should I tell him? Yeah, nah, that's tomorrow's video. It's like, I want to tell him so our friendship grows stronger, but at the same time, some dudes get mad over that. So it's like, I don't know what to do. I'm between a rock and a hard place. I remember one time this dude accused me of being Eskimo Brothers with some, like, I literally, like, he was like, "Oh yeah, like we both slept with so and so." I was like, "No, he didn't. I did not sleep with her. She was horrendous." Okay, like, absolutely not. I don't know if his plan was to like bond over how ugly she was, so like we could be like, "Oh, like it's not that bad," but like, nah, it was that bad. I lost respect for him after that day. But anyways, Drake. Okay, so what the Kendrick beef does to Drake, okay, from my view, is it makes Drake as a character look a bit lame. Personally, the view I had of Drake the entire time like never changed. That's why when everyone was like, "Oh, like Kendrick won," they're just like glazing him. I couldn't do it because I'm like, like what he's trying to do with Drake, like there was no change in me for like how I view Drake, because they're like, "Oh, no," because he's coming at him with the same stuff like, "Oh, you're a bad father. Oh, you're just with women all the time. Ooh, you have problematic views probably. Ooh, you're around young girls," which again, like, I don't know, the allegations have been around for like decades, so it's like, again, like, what is it like, what's supposed to change about my viewpoint? There's a difference with the Pusha T beef. Pusha T told us that man had a child. Like, that was completely different. Pusha T gave us new information. But anyways, okay, attack on his character. So a lot of people are like, "Oh, like," I don't think they say this out loud, but I think before, like, they thought like Drake was like generally like cool or something, and now they don't think he's cool. So it's like, it just completely changed how they listen to the music. So when someone says that Drake was ruined for them because of the beef, it's because they kind of idolized him before and now they no longer idolize him. Honestly, at that point, it's your fault for even making Drake something that you strive to be. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like most people with common sense can be like, "Oh, like, you know, that's Drake. Like, yeah, you know, rich, famous, stuff like that." But, you know, maybe I don't necessarily want to like be him as a person, because, you know, he does sound like he's like struggling on the beat sometimes. Getting close to 40 and like having like women troubles like so like fluently, man, like that's like, again, I'm sure he's living the life, but like, bro, like I would probably be crushed. What do you mean I still can't find the right one for me? Okay, like at that age, I'd be sad. Okay, but again, you know, Drake, he's doing his thing, and again, I admire the music. I think he's a good musician. But it's like, other people, since they don't want to be like Drake, so him painting the Drake experience of like, "This is my life, this is what I go through," people no longer want to deal with that. Like, people listen to people because they low key want to be that. Okay, like, why do you think people listen to King Von because they like the sound of his music? Nah, 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 nah. For something like King Von, I wouldn't even say a little bit. I think there are a lot of people that listen to genres like that because they want to feel like that kind of guy. Like, we all know those guys who, you know, they listen to that kind of music. They're not necessarily like that, but you know, you get into a little verbal altercation with them. They start talking like they are King Von. They start talking like they are Lil Durk. Those people want to be tough. Okay, some Drake stands want to be womanizers. They want every woman to love them. You know, they want to be like this super like cool guy that they feel like Drake is. That's why they spend so much time convincing themselves that they relate to the music when they actually don't relate whatsoever. Like, I remember, like, I've seen a few posts where they're saying like, "Oh, like dudes where their favorite artist is Drake, like they're like really lame a lot of the time." Because that's how people listen to music, okay? They idolize who they listen to. Personally, you know, not to make it about me, actually, I'd love to make it about me. I listen to music for them painting the illustration, like the experience of their life. That's why I'll never have a problem with Drake, because him like rapping about his life, singing about how he feels, it's never really going to be an issue. I mean, given that it sounds good. So when I listen to this Drake album here, and notice I say Drake and not Drake and Party Next Door album, because like, was Party Next Door even on this album? Be for real. Like, it was funny because here's the thing. Like, Drake would be singing, and then like Party Next Door would come in, and I'd be like, because things, I just want more Drake. But then like Party Next Door, he'd have his moments. I'd be like, okay, cool. Like, he'd have like a really nice note. Something like, "She from Michigan, but she tastes like water." It was the way he delivered it. I was like, okay, I'm glad that you're in this song. It's like, he's good. Like, you know, it sounds good, but like, man, being on a song with Drake, gotta be like, as an artist, like if you want to stand out, gotta be a nightmare, especially for like this genre of like, you know, quote unquote R&B. But anyways, I listened to this album, I feel like it sounds good, and he's painting a picture of his experience that I do value. Like, on a song like "Give Me a Hug," you know, after he gets through all that stuff where he's kind of like soft talking about the beef but not really, talking about going to the strip club, giving out hugs, he's like directing these lyrics at women like, "Oh, you know, I understand like people judge you, but it's okay because you're like a family to me, like everything's fine." I really like when Drake illustrates himself as a ladies man in this way. It's actually very like, I don't want to say sinister, I don't want to use that Twitter word, but very like, it's like, oh, like I know they don't love you, but I do. Like it's okay. Like come to me, the safe space that is Drake. Like these other guys, they don't respect you, but I do. You know what I mean? Like he's like luring them in. And it's like it's so thinly veiled that I like the picture it paints. Like I feel like he's like shedding light for us as a listener that like, yeah, you know, like like this is how I drag them through the mud, okay? I make them feel good first. I give them that safe space. Like so much of this album, like the general vibe of it is like pandering to women, okay? But pandering to women in a way that's not irritating towards men. I feel like this album makes those like, you know, strippers, IG model types, you know, go to the club, Miami, New York, LA, all the nice ones for free, of course. Get in there, you know, maybe go home with a guy, and then like they just do their thing, okay? And maybe these young ladies aren't the sharpest tools in the shed, you know, don't really think for themselves too much. They just do that. And like that's their life. Like that's like the peak of it. Like that's all they're about. Okay. I feel like he makes those women feel very seen. Oh my gosh, I just relate. You know, he's always talking about like their ex, like who wasn't shit. Like, oh man, my ex wasn't shit. And the thing is, I respect that because I feel like that's the type of women that he deals with. Now I don't know if he like does this like intentionally to like lure more of them in. Like so they like what if he makes these to like make those IG model types like him more so then he can continue doing his thing with them, or if this is just what he's talking about because this is who he experiences. But either way I like it, okay? But again, like that's like the group where you're gonna see them lip syncing on social media. You'll see them tweet like, oh, I could never switch up on Drake, blah 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 blah. It's because he literally makes music for them. Like when I was talking about like people want to relate to something, that something like they want to be, blah blah blah, like this is the people like who relate to this, you know what I mean? Like it's women like that who find this to be relatable. You compare something like this to older Drake, like Take Care, where like, yeah, you know, Take Care of Thank Me Later, where like, yeah, like there's a lot of romantic subplots going on, like, oh yeah, I'm going through it, but it's much more in a relatable sense that like day to day people go through. And things, it's easier for Drake to do that at that time because at that time he was much closer to a normal like citizen than he is now. So it's like he dropped something like Marvin's Room and people are like, oh yeah, I've totally drunk called my ex before. Yeah, I totally have missed my ex. Oh my gosh, so relatable. It's like as he progresses, as though he would like to do like similar things or like he tried to do similar things. For one, people like hate too much of a good thing. Like they hate, so like there are certain albums by Drake where I feel like if they were his first album, they'd be much more revered than they actually are. But the problem is when it comes to certain things, people are like, oh, like we've heard that already. Like I have a friend who hates Future because he's like, bro, Future's been rapping about the same stuff since we were in high school. And it's like, bro, I feel like artist evolution in certain ways, like especially topically, is overrated. Me personally, if I like a song, I like how it sounds, make another one like just like that. Like literally do that. Now I value versatility and I do value evolution, but I don't think it's a necessary thing for every artist. Look at someone like Kanye, for instance. He has evolved so much sonically and thematically that like people actually don't like it. You know, like people were saying they miss the old Kanye after he dropped Yeezus, Twisted Fantasy, and Watch the Throne. Like I understand people don't really like Watch the Throne like that, but like after Yeezus, people were like, oh, I miss the old Kanye. But now people are like, I miss the old Kanye. And they're talking about Yeezus. They're talking about Life of Pablo. They're even talking about Donda. And I tell you, everyone was trying to convince you up and down that Donda that he was washed. Now Donda is the thing people look at like, oh my gosh, like, I just wish it was more like that. And my point is, not every artist is going to do that, okay? Especially not every artist is going to go that far, okay? But you look at artists like Kendrick, okay? Let's just talk about from Good Kid, Mad City, to Butterfly, Untitled Unmastered, Damn, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, and now GNX, okay? There's a lot of progression there. And there were certain missteps, like a lot of people think Damn is a misstep, which honestly I would agree. I'm not a big Damn guy, even though I like some of the songs on there, but it's like certain things where it's like, I feel like he put enough space between them to where the progression made sense. You know what I mean? It's like if he dropped To Pimp a Butterfly and then dropped To Pimp a Butterfly Part 2 2 years later, it would be like a Drake situation. The problem people have with Drake, and the problem I'm starting to see they have with Travis Scott, I didn't even know, they feel like most songs just sound the same. And again, it's like you want something different, but at the same time, you don't. Like truly, you don't want anything too different. You want something that makes sense, right? But that's more so like the casual music listener who feels that way. Like me personally, I think it's virtually impossible for two good songs to sound the same. You know what I mean? Like unless you literally did the exact same thing on them. Like I feel like there's always nuances to be found in music, even if it does sound similar. It's like I feel like that's a valid complaint, songs sounding too similar, but I feel like it gets to the point where it's like if they're good enough, it doesn't even matter that they sound similar. You know what I'm saying? Something I think is a much more valid complaint about Drake is the effort. Okay, they feel like there's a lack of effort in there, and you can honestly hear it on this album. I remember a few videos ago I was talking about Frank Ocean and how like there's a value to him not trying too hard to do certain things. And the thing is, a lot of the not trying too hard the reason it works is because the production is so nice. And the thing is, there's not really anything special about the production on this album. Honestly, that's how most Drake albums are. That like it's like if a Drake album's gonna be good, if a Drake song is gonna be good, it's because Drake himself has to be good. Okay, like I cannot think of any time I've heard Drake get carried by a beat. And maybe that's intentional, but at the same time, sometimes I want the artist to get carried by the beat, like just a little bit. There's some songs on the album where I'm like, okay, like this sounds nice, but I wish like there'd be more done with the vocal inflection. Like I wish more range would be shown. Because Drake has a nice voice, we know that. And then like, of course, there are times on the album where he does go into the falsetto. He does start singing a bit harder. But it's like I wish like this was throughout the album. The thing about Drake is it's very rare that he's gonna make a bad song, and I feel like that's what frustrates people like as haters, just because he has too much experience and again a nice voice. So it's like he has all this like literally he can get the like best beats from anybody in the world, and he can just kind of just like do anything on them and it's gonna sound pretty good. But it's like him like not really pushing the boundaries to make a bad song makes it so some of these songs it's like maybe they could be like great, maybe this could be an amazing song, but like it's not. That's why I say this album is good, and I'm not just glazing. It's like I can't see myself being in a situation where someone like puts this album on and I'm like, yo, like turn this off. You know what I'm saying? Because I do enjoy it relatively. Okay, there's a few songs I would go back to. Unless I'm in a situation where I'm like, bro, this really just calls for like melodic Drake. Like if I'm in a melodic Drake type situation, oh yeah, of course, it's getting played through all the way through. But my favorites were Mothballs, crazy name, Small Town Fame, Give Me a Hug. I liked Raining in Houston. Nokia was great in a weird way, and I liked When He's Gone. And celibacy isn't real. I want to make a video about how celibacy isn't real. That's coming soon. No, actually my favorite song, I don't know how I'm gonna skip it, Die Trying is a really like I think that's an amazing song. It's like a guitar ballad. I don't even know. I don't know if I can call it a ballad, but it's a guitar song, bro. It's a beat that like I never thought I'd hear Drake over. I really enjoy that song all around. But I enjoy that, and I enjoy Nokia because they're both so different. You know what I mean? It's like we're used to Drake coming a certain way, so it's nice when he doesn't come that way. And that's when he can make like a great, like really amazing song, a song that like I'm proud to listen to. You know what I'm saying? Like someone asks me what I'm listening to, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm listening to this song. Like goes stupid hard. But yeah, other than that, album's good. Good listen. Like my ears like it. Again, like there are gonna be certain people who glaze it because they think like, because again, it relates to them, like they have that life. Or also there are still people who think Drake is like really cool, so they just want to be Drake, so they're gonna be like, oh, anything he says is like amazing. But me, I admire it thematically, because again, I feel like he's just painting the picture of his life. And I think it sounds good, which is more important than anything, like something sounding good. And if someone can like sonically and lyrically like point me towards where they're at mentally, I always like that. I always like that feeling. But I really don't like the narrative. People are like, oh man, after he got into beef with Kendrick, he's not even rapping now. He dropped an R&B album. And it's like, bro, like, it's like you want this beef to like rule his life, as if like he wouldn't have just dropped a collab with Party Next Door, someone he has collabed with before. Like anyways, like, Drake's at a point where he can't win. It's like anything he does, like people think it's like the corniest thing ever. Like everyone thinks it's like beef related. Like maybe he just moved on with his life. But I will say this album will really tell people what. Oh, by the way, there was one song on this album that was unlistened. I think it was Meet Your Padre. Oh yeah, when Drake started like being an accent, I think that song was like unlistenable for me. Like everyone, like I said, he'll rarely make a bad song, but every once in a while, it's like, bro, like what's going on here? But anyways, okay, this album, okay, the sales on this album are really gonna tell us how this beef like really fared. Like if this beef like actually was a thing, okay? Because the thing is, a lot of people are pretending now, like, oh, like I could never listen to Drake, like I can't listen to him the same way again, like he sucks, like blah 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 blah. If this album like doesn't go number one or has significantly less sales than Drake usually has, then I'm really gonna be like, okay, then Kendrick probably won. But the thing is, I doubt that's gonna happen. I think there's a lot of people that said, oh, F Drake, F Drake, F Drake, and he still ended up on their Spotify Wrapped, on their Apple Music replay. So I'm very much ready to like laugh in people's faces when they're like somehow surprised. But I guarantee you, people are going to be surprised he goes number one, or surprised he sells how much he sells when they themselves listen to the album. Like you understand, hate listening is still listening, right? And the thing is, I doubt like you're going to be hate listening the entire time. Like I feel like most people, again, most music listeners are casual, so they are going to go back. They're going to be like, oh man, that one Drake song was kind of cool, and they're going to go back to it. And Drake is literally like catnip for the casual music listener. Like there's nothing they can do about it. Like if you're a casual music listener, like at some point you're gonna have to listen to Drake. Like you give yourself no choice. Okay, delve into more music. But yeah, Skywater dropped last night, and West Side Gun, and both those projects were really good. I like both those a lot more than this album. Yeah. But like again, like I don't know. There's no use in comparing, but like I did enjoy them more. But you know, I kind of enjoy those sounds more. That's the thing. You know, like I knew I was gonna like the West Side Gun and Skywater albums more like before I listened to it. Actually, Skywater I wasn't so sure about because Skywater like sometimes like I don't want to say hit or miss, but sometimes like hit or miss. Like sometimes because I really like the whole like cunty like oh like what gender am I type music. But like sometimes I'm like, okay, like you need to like in this song, like you need to like lock in. But I feel like he locked in on the album. And then West Side Gun, bro, West Side Gun, he always delivers, always. Always love a good Stove God Cooks feature. Oh. Anyways, that's the video mostly. And by the way, I just yapped. So if there's anything like I missed or like I should like said that like I shouldn't have said, I don't know. I just yapped. You know, I'm just speaking from the heart. But yeah, I do like doing music content on here, and I'm thinking about doing more. What I really want to do, what I'm really into, is I want to find a way to do like underground rappers. And I'm thinking, I don't know if I want to do like one video going through underground rappers or if I want to do a video like per rapper and then like spread them out. Because the couple things, underground rapper fan bases love when people talk about that underground rapper. And I say that as someone myself. I remember when I was listening to like, I think it was like a couple years ago, I was listening to Hard Rock. And like I was like, bro, like this is so good, but like obviously no one I know listens to him. Like I need to find someone to talk about him. So then find someone who talked about him and listened to him. It was like I'd always like really rock with the video. And it's like I want to be that person for some people, completely selfishly, okay? Because I know it would provide me with more glazers, and you know that's what I love getting glazers. I just love getting access to a new glaze. It's just you have no idea how good it feels to have glazers. But yeah, I'm still thinking about how I want to work that out, and then I don't want to get to the point where like I'm like I don't want to pigeonhole myself as a music guy, and I don't think I will because I always have stuff to talk about, like when it comes to like dating, stories about my life. But it's like I will probably have to spread those videos out if I do make them multiple videos. But at the same time, I don't want to make it just like one long video because I feel like that's like it's not really giving each rapper like what they deserve. I don't know. I'm probably gonna mention that again like at some point because I'm thinking about how I'm gonna turn it out, like how I'm gonna make it into a thing. Just know I'm mulling it over in my head. But yeah, that is the video. Happy Valentine's Day if you're watching this on Valentine's Day, and have a lovely. Wait, no, I gotta remember the outro. Okay. Thank you for watching. Happy Valentine's Day. See, I'm gonna throw that in right there. Like, comment, subscribe, everything I have to say. I'm so sorry, and I love you. Okay. Have a great day, night, evening, morning, month.